Hello, it's Red Hunter, and welcome back to another part of my teaching series. I said I would be back if anything interesting happened, and right now we have this flag. Well, we have a couple flags that I will show you. The first of them is this red flag with the pitchfork and with the cross. Anyway, um, and it says the following rebel factions will soon start a rebel uprising. Wow. Also, our ships arrived and need to be bring over here. The ship can come over here. This means 80% or more. That means you can have a rebels pretty soon. Well, what rebels and where, right? You ask. Well, we can click on them. We can see right here. It gives us all the information we need. Tells us where it's going to be. It's going to be here at Orion. They're going to have 8K in armies, and how they get the size of their armies due to what. They're at 80%, and there's a 14.1 chance percent of increasing the progress by 10% each month due to how much unrest is in their province. At this pace, the next revolt will be in about 1.1 years. Okay, so we know we have a year to prepare. So what's the first thing you do? You raise army maintenance. If this fort was off, which it's not, but let's say it was, you do turn it back on immediately. Well, what's another thing we can do, right? Oh yes, also. So what we are going to do is we're going to take this army and bring it over here. But like, let's say we were fighting Aragon, for example, and our armies were busy, and we want to deal with the rebels, but we don't have time to go smash them. What can we do? We clearly just handle the button. And there's a couple things we can do. We can accept demands, which we're not going to do, because that would give these provinces back to this country. We could boost stability if we had enough. Boosting stability gives you less. It should tell you. It infects the unrest in your provinces. Cool. What else could we do then, you say? We could send a missionary to change your religion, but as you can see, it'll have a monthly progress due to these things, so 0. So that won't help. We could change the culture, but you can't change the culture in a province that has separatism. Separatism is the modifier. Let me show you. You can see the unrest. It breaks down the wards option. You get every time you fight, every time you go to war, you get wards option, which ticks down. I'll show you wards option now, actually. You can see it reduces 0.10 every month due to peace, and it's currently at 0.5, so next month it'll be completely gone. You can spend 75 diplo points to reduce it. This is an emergency thing only. We also have some corruption, but we'll get to that in a minute. You see it's out of 20. Don't let it get to 20. Bad things start happening once you get above 10. War exhaustion. But it affects your national unrest, shipbuilding time, recruitment time, core creation costs, goods produced modifier, and if you wanted to annex your vassals. Anyway, let's not. So, separatism is the province wanting to go back to the people that owned it before, and it's the case by 0.05 yearly, and we can see that by 1483, all the separatism will be gone. Non-aseptic culture is something we could deal with by clicking one of these buttons. But right now it needs to be, it's at 0%. It needs to be at 20 development. Uh, I'm sorry. It's yeah. The reason it's so low is because they're not cores yet. Well, this one's a core, but that's 7%. This once this cores, it'll be 15%. It's not high enough to promote, but usually you could promote it. And you would do that by spending Diplo points. But we have two of two promoted cultures already. The game starts us with it. Okay, so what else about unrest? So what could you do? Because I've shown you a bunch of modifiers. Well, you could harsh treatment. I could spend 50% on harsh treatment to reduce the uprising progress by 30%. Which says with great effort, torture, and a few executions, the rebel problem can be reduced. You're essentially spending sending your military to go stomp down on them and do kill a few of the people that are unhappy to make the rest happier. While this game doesn't explicitly go into any of the really icky subjects that happen in history, it does have a lot of underpinnings of it. Like when you, which we're not going to get to because they're not relevant to the video and it's a game. You know, it's a historical game, so it has things. But we're not going to spend military power when we're not ahead of time in military. In fact, if you can see what Tech 4 and everything, and we're already behind in admin and Diplo Tech. This is mainly because, part of it is because we had a bunch of provinces to core. But this is also because the Renaissance is spreading. You can see it spreading through our country. And so you say, well, why is it only spreading in certain areas? And I'll tell you. You click on the province, and then you click on the open codes institutions. You can see it's spreading at 0.07 per month. Why? Because it's a European 10 development province. So, it's spreading here for the same reason, and here, and here, and everywhere. Now, so what are the other modifiers that can, and also spread modifiers? How else can we make it spread? Well, we can, if a nearly friendly province has Renaissance, it'll spread faster. The adjacent province has Renaissance, it'll spread faster. 20 development provinces spread even faster. And post 1500, if it's a 5 development province in Europe. Now, there is one other thing we could do that we're not going to do, but I will show you anyway, because in some countries you need to. You can spend, for example, 51 military power to improve base manpower, +1 in Toledo, making the province better. Giving minimum manpower plus 275, garrison growth, and the Renaissance will spawn will increase by 2.66%. This means that and it tells you the cost of improving the province. This means that in countries where the Renaissance can't spread to because they're too far, they're either overseas or they're like way down here, for example. Um, you can see that Tunis doesn't even have feudalism fully embraced. So, in areas where it can't spread, you can force it to spread by spending your monarch points. That's a viable option to do. In fact, you will see me do that in my idea guide campaign that I'm doing occasional videos for. You'll see me do that because in my idea guide campaign, I'm like way over here. I'm in the new world, so there's almost no way that the provinces, that the institutions are going to spread to me in an acceptable amount of time. So I'm forcing them to spawn in my own country, and then I'm paying to embrace them. But we'll talk about that. Which in order to embrace an institution and cause it to spread, get the institution embrace modifier, it has to be embraced in 10% of your provinces. Now, when this is embraced, it'll start when it makes it in one province, starts spreading a lot faster. When France embraces the Renaissance, it'll start spreading to me a lot faster. But until then, we just wait. And what's this? So we have provincial unrest. Let's unpause. We're gonna have unrest here and then unrest here. But what's this? What's this you say? What is this flag, right? This flag means you can make states. So when you conquer new areas, they're territories. Okay? And you need to make them states. And how do you make them states? You make them states by clicking on this flag once you have the pop-up. Rome is divided into several territories or provinces in one area. The map's divided into areas. You can't see them, but you... Show me the areas. Yeah. Now you can. This is an area. This is an area. This is an area. This is an area. This is my capital area. And now you can see all the different areas. Okay. So, this will turn all of those into a territory can be made into a state of a nation, which is an integral part of the realm. This will cost some maintenance depending on the distance from the capital while reducing its minimum autonomy drastically. So what's autonomy? The maximum number of states can be increased by increasing government rank, advancing administrative technology, and completing the administrative ideas group. So that's how you get more states. But why do you care, right? What's the big deal? Well, right now you can see it makes only a little bit of income. It'll cost us 21 in maintenance, but it'll increase our income by to 89. So right now it makes 29. Well, 89 minus 21 is 68. So we will essentially triple, we will double the amount of income that it makes, which is a huge deal. It also increases our manpower and sailors from the area. So we're gonna make it into a state. But now, once you make it into a state, you need to do territorial cores. But because it's a territorial core, it costs minus 50%. And that's multiplicative. Anyway, we're going to talk about autonomy. The autonomy here is 50%. It's capped at 50% because it's a territorial core. I haven't made it into a full core yet by spending the admin. What about here though? Territory autonomy is 75%. And it can't be lower than 75% because it is a territory. Well, what about here? The autonomy is 0% because it's a capital province and it can't have autonomy higher than 0. Well, so what about here? It's 25% because it's controlled by the nobility estate, and it can't be lower. That's controlled by an estate. Okay, what about this? Its autonomy is 0.1, but it can't be lower than 0.5 usually because of corruption. So you can see that different provinces have different levels of autonomy. What does autonomy do? So let's say for 25%, right? It decreases trade power, production efficiency, tax modifier, naval force limit, sailors modifiers. So it's a big deal. You want your autonomy as low as possible. That being said, when an estate, as a reminder, these are the estates. When they control a province and in their area, an estate loyalty determines the effect they have on the country. Yeah. Okay, so let's take a look at our states tab for now. All right, so let's take an example of this one. This one is controlled by the burghers. So its minimum of province autonomy is burghers is the trade estate. No, we don't want to revoke it. You can't revoke them though. It removes local autonomy for production efficiency, trade power, naval force, and sailors. So for the diplomatic parts of this province, so for the 3 trade power, it counts this autonomy as if it were at 0. Also, this province has 50% more local trade power, which is a lot. For Madrid, this thing has 50% more. I will show you on the estates tab. I actually am going to revoke. I'm going to revoke them. Madrid. I don't want them having Madrid. That's going to upset them, but it would give them more. We're going to call. And then it's not ideal, but it'll tick back up towards 40. But now Madrid can be lowered. Anyway, it ignores the effect in the estate, so tax provinces that are owned by the clergy will have full value, and in addition, they'll have a bonus. That's why you give things to estates. One of the reasons. That's as far as in estates as I'm going to go into in a basic tutorial series. Anyway, I gotta pour these provinces. Yay. So, yeah. To not forget that. We're gonna send this here. We're gonna send these here. We're gonna move the I'm gonna move the transports here. The whole fleet anyway. Alright. Get on the boat. And then come here. $11 will be enough. I'll move you here to Toledo. And you here to here. Also, you'll see now, the unrest drops a little bit because there's a friendly troop modifier. You can get, by stacking 20k troops on a province, you can give it a -5 unrest. And now that these are 4s, I can also make them into an estate. Well, but you can see that I also need this province from Tunis if I choose to make it into an estate. It'll cost us 16 while giving us 34. That's not much of a change over the 11. So I probably won't do that. But what I am going to do is fabricate a claim on this province. We have a conquest Casus Belli, but unfortunately we can't. We have to wait till 1461. England's building spy networks on us. Right. Once this hits 100%, Bernard and Separatists. Well, let's actually see before we send troops here. Let's see where they're going to spawn. You can see where this is 1, where it's going to spawn. This could be, it could spawn in any of the 4, and there'll be 16,000 of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move here, and then I'm going to build a couple troops. So 1, 2, 3. And now we just simply wait for the wolves to spawn. I'm not really interested in making this into. Oh, they're there. Oh, pause. Unpause. Ooh. This is not a fight we usually want to take. But Oh yes. So because of the fort, they were successful, but they won't cause separatism because of the fort here. The fort will siege a province next to a fort, and the fort's active. Come on. Don't you get. Okay, we won, but that hurt. Tracking in the mountains is a bad idea unless you have to. We had to in that case. Look at those losses. And we're going to unsiege this. Although the fort will. Watch, we're not going to unsiege it. Watch, I'll show you what will happen. And now that modifier went away. You see they're going to spawn soon. We've taken a loan because we've run out of money. You can see that the fort unsieged that itself. So we're going to core here, core here. And our early charts already. So we're going to move them here. Well, there we await our return fleet. Don't worry about taking loans when you need to. Obviously, usually you take them during times of war, but sometimes, like now, you have to take them. I'm not over my force limit, right? No. Oh yeah, your force limit goes up the more provinces you conquer. So we were at 31, and you can see we're at 32 when we finish coring these states, these territorial cores. It'll go up even more. Wow, for something that, and then we're gonna claim something else here. We'll claim there, sure. Um, for something that was supposed to be a short video, ended up being over 25 minutes. We're going to lose the prestige. You almost never want to lose power projector if you can help it. And now, once again, my armies are trying to reinforce. I'm hopeful they'll die. Now, see, there's a bunch of like space here because we'll end with. Aha. Why am I not getting a pop up and pause? You can also often click on things and it'll let you change the that rebellion is easily dealt with. Alright. So this is we can pick up a cardinal, or we can gain admin power. We're gonna gain admin power, thank you. Now, you'll say, and of course, the thing I thought was gonna be a short video has been 30 minutes. So you'll notice the unrest in this province has dropped to 0. And there's a main reason for it. It's at minus 84.4. That's because it's had a recent uprising. As long as that modifier stays, the unrest in this province is still pretty high. So this will be 10k. That will spawn. Now Algerian settlers. So we're gonna leave the army there. That way it'll spawn right on top. Anyway, my these are now all cores, and their economy will start to drop. You can also see it's minus 0. We need to remember to see if we can do anything with Poland now that we're at max. Nope, we were not able to get an alliance, unfortunately. That's fine. Maybe we'll be able to pick up an alliance with Bohemia. Let's try to improve relation and find out. And let's check with Denmark. If Denmark would like an alliance. Oh. I was hoping that we could get one because we have common rivals, which gives us an enemy of an enemy. There's just too many negatives. Anyway, that'll be it for this part. I'll probably call it something like Dealing with Rebels, which turns out to be 30-minute explanation and showing, because this game is pretty complex. There's just so much to go over. Complex but fun. You probably notice you do just about everything to run your nation, and while the mechanics are the same for most of the nations that you pick, the starting situation, your goals, how you have to survive around you, everything is different. And once we get into idea groups, you'll see how that modifies the game even more. And I played Castile probably about a dozen times, and every time is different. Sometimes you'll play, and France will rival you. So you'll have to worry about war with France, instead of them being friendly. Games are much easier when they're friendly. Sometimes Aragon will be friendly with you. Sometimes, well, Portugal is always friendly with you. But sometimes you'll just decide you want to kill Portugal because you want the entire Iberian Peninsula to yourself. Sometimes you'll be able to get Portugal into a personal union. That's happened. And yeah, this weird games happen. Anyway, I hope everybody has a wonderful day. And until next time, please rate, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.